Andre Ward was talking to me. And it's crazy. Andre Ward said he didn't mind doing an exhibition against Jake Paul. My guy right here, this is the guy that's behind the scenes that made the Conor McGregor fight happen. The Logan Paul, the first exhibition in Japan, this exhibition in Japan, the Don Moore. This is the guy right here that's behind the scenes that makes everything happen. This is the guy I'm always talking about. And he said somebody reached out to him. He don't really like to do interviews because he's behind the scenes. He reached out to you and said what? The Logan Paul kid.
Logan Paul want part two.
He want part two. Now remember, this is the same guy that said he didn't get paid.
Those are the words of Floyd Money Mayweather as he states that Andre Ward is interested in an exhibition with Jake Paul. Of course, Floyd ventured out to talk about himself with Logan Paul, but we're not talking about Logan Paul. We're talking about Jake Paul and Andre S.O.G. Ward. Okay, so let's look at both of these fighters realistically, as far as age, as far as everything else. Tell of the tape, Andre Ward is 38 years of age. He turned 38 in February on the 23rd. 6 foot tall, super middleweight, light heavyweight. He has 32 wins, no losses, no draws, with 16 wins by KO. He's been out of the ring for 5 years, 6 years. He's been out of the ring for a good minute, okay? Then you have, of course, Jake Paul, which is a YouTube celebrity. He is a cruiserweight, much bigger, 6'1", a little taller than Andre Ward, with 5 fights, 4 wins by knockout, no losses, no draws. But of course, we're looking at the opposition. That's all that really matters. As far as professional boxing goes, Tyron is not a boxer. Ben Askren is not a boxer. Nate Robinson is not a boxer. And Ebson Gibb, I don't know who the hell that is. So I never heard of him. So I don't know what he is and what he did. But that was his first win. So as far as competition goes, Jake Paul has been proving a lot of people wrong because people thought Tyron was going to knock Jake Paul off. But it didn't happen. He didn't knock him off. He didn't knock him out. In fact, he got knocked out. Andre, it looks like he stayed in shape. And I think what people are starting to do, they're starting to catch on to the exhibitions. Mike Tyson started the legendary league, the Legends League, where older fighters that were once warriors and legends already in their own right began to come back to the sport and fight each other in exhibitions. Well, Floyd, Money Mayweather, has done the same thing. In fact, he done it quicker. He done it a lot quicker than Mike Tyson, and I think other people are starting to get interested in exhibitions because you take less punishment. The rules are different. It's not as brutal. It's not as stringent, but you're still able to exercise your craft, the same craft that gave you your house, that fed your kids, that took care of your family, and et cetera, and et cetera. So I think everyone is starting to come into this realization of getting back into the ring. Andre Ward is no exception. I was just wondering when he was going to do it. I think at 38 years of age and out of the ring for a long time, I would say that would be the only challenge, ring rust. I don't see Jake Paul doing anything to Andre Ward. Andre Ward knows how to win. He took on Sergey Kovalev when he was a monster, but how long ago was that? That's the question, okay? The big question mark is Jake Paul would take that fight because he's an undefeated fighter that's never been defeated, and he's a legend. And if he can knock him off or give him some type of black eye or spot or stripe, he will do that, And Jake Paul believes in himself, but one thing I think should happen is they should be on an even playing field. Make that what you will. Jake Paul's a lot younger, of course. He is, 25 to 38. Andre Ward, could have had him, right? So I think, that would be a very interesting fight. Floyd, of course, is trying to promote the idea of Andre Ward coming back to the sport. But Jake Paul, he's going to bring in numbers, not for the people, the YouTubers, his platform, but for the people that hate Jake Paul. So I think Jake Paul has created a reputation of the people that actually hate him, want to see him lose, but they pay to see him lose. And if he never loses, people will keep paying and paying and paying again, like they did with Floyd, Money Mayweather. But anyway, you guys tell me what you think of Andre Ward interested in an exhibition bout with Jake Paul. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace.